do that's kind of different than everybody else out there, and this is different than anyone in this conference, is we take your network communications and we push it one level deeper. So what we're doing is we're looking at what process is actually sending that connection, what user owns that process, and we care about things like ports, but not as much as before, because when you know the actual process that's sending and receiving data, you have a much deeper understanding of what's happening.
Right.
So what we're doing is our agent runs on your system and all your base nodes, and it receives incoming connections. And we know specifically what process received it. So you can see here, we use Nginx as our base nodes, or as our edge node, and you can see here it's associated with user root, and it's received all these connections. But then Nginx spawns a child process, and you can see it's associated with a different UID that sends those connections downstream. And then it sends connections, and we see that HA proxy is the one who's receiving. So basically what we're doing is we're understanding what's actually happening, who your processes are actually talking to in your environment.
Putting some context to it all.
Yeah, we're giving you context, because your normal network security, you're looking at, it's called the 5-tuple, which is the source port, source IP, destination port, destination IP, and protocol. But knowing that one IP address on one port talk to another IP address on another port, it's better than nothing, but it's not really helping you. You don't know anything about that connection or that data. So when you bring it down to the process and the user action that caused it, it gives you a whole different level of visibility and understanding of what's happening in your environment. So it allows us to do things like this. Like this alert is application Hydra running on this host is this user, SSH to this host is this user. Then we also have some correlated events where we just saw user Ubuntu launch Dash for the first time, they connected and used SSH. So all of these things show up to let you know basically what happened. And then we give you a polygraph that shows you the actual event that happened. So this right here is something that no other tool can show. And this is the IP address the person logged in from, everybody knows that. The user who logged in, people can figure that out. That they were given a bash session. These are things that you kind of have to intuit when you look at it.
Right.
Then you could see they ran a privilege escalation, sudo su. And you can see here this bash was run as user Ubuntu, and this bash was run as user root. And then from there they launched a script that launched Hydra, and Hydra connected on SSH to another server. This is built and then we have the full command line for every process that was launched. You can see there's actually 2 servers here with the commands that are showing up. And what this does is this would let you know that, hey, something happened to my server user, they were hacked, something like that happened, they're behaving weird, and you're able to see this, and you'd also see, oh, user root launched this Bitcoin mining thing, something's really screwed up.
Yeah.
And we give you the ability, you could open up any of these in a new tab and quickly get to understand everything about Hydra in your environment, everything about this server. And the search, it lets you quickly look at anything. So now if something happens out of the ordinary, maybe it's so that's the Bitcoin mining we saw earlier. You could quickly search and see. Or everything Java related in your environment. So with our service, you could quickly answer questions that take minutes or hours using log aggregation tools, if you even could answer it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the primary benefit of our system, is that visibility. In addition to that, we do the same thing for CloudTrail. So CloudTrail, it's an API collection of everything that happens in your account. It's console logins, it's SDK calls, everything. And so what we do for every call is we give you the source account, the IP the call came from, whether it was an API call or a console login, the principal or object making the call, the target or direction or location the call was sent to, the API call in question, details about it, and any additional information. So this was an EC2 instance that called the STS service to assume a role called S3 Hydra config. Then this role was used to query EC2 for read access, and it was describing tags. So what we've learned is that this EC2 instance describes tags with the roles attached to it. So if someone were to hijack this EC2 instance and do anything else with it, we would send you an alert or event to say, hey, something new or different's happening here. You should take a look at it.
It's cool.